play the A major arpeggio the same way. And that's it. Here it is up to tempo. The majority of our writing process is together as a band. Somebody usually has a progression or groove or an idea, and they bring that in, and it's basically we just jam on it. We set the tape recorder and just kind of go for it, and out of those jams some solid ideas start to happen, and we start working on arrangements, and before you know it we have a song.
Do you write lyrics yourself at all?
Yes, I write lyrics, and I'm really interested in lyric and melody and how that contributes to the song, the real importance of the lyrics and the melody and the vocalist. The cool thing is that all of us were basically influenced by the same bands, and a lot of them happen to be progressive, like Rush and Yes and the Dregs and Genesis and even Zappa's music. So when we all got together at Berkeley, it just kind of naturally came out, this type of music in Odd Times, and even you know, using the harmony that was a little bit more experimental or creative and whatnot, and it was just kind of a natural direction for us all. We've been focusing in a lot on developing techniques for soloing and chop building, but let's switch gears now and concentrate on building your chord vocabulary. What we're going to do is we're going to take the ever-faithful power chord, by adding certain notes to these chords, we're going to mutate them, and we're going to add some colors and drama into basic chord progressions. So let's first make sure everybody knows what the power chord is. Basically, it's a two-note chord consisting of the root and fifth. For example, a B power chord would consist of B and the fifth F sharp. Now you could expand and you can double the B, or you can put the fifth in the bass, which makes the chord sound even heavier, so the F sharp will be below the B. This is really effective. And one other type that's not really a typical power chord, but it's a progressive power chord. You take the root, the fifth, and you add the ninth on top. It sounds like this. To explore this topic a little bit further, you have to understand two things. First of all, which notes can be added to the power chords, and second of all, how those notes affect the name of the chord and also the function of the chord in the progression. First of all, we have the root and fifth, what you see as an example. If we add an E or a third to that, we have a C major chord. If we add an E flat to that, which is a minor third, we have a C minor chord. If we add a second or ninth to that, we have what's called a suspended second chord. In this case, it would be a D. If we add a fourth to that, we have what's called a suspended fourth. In this case, the fourth would be. All of those chords added one note to the power chord and drastically changed the sound. Now let's go through some chords that add two notes. If we add the major third and the major seventh, we have a major seventh chord. So you'd have the power chord, the major third E, and the major seventh B. If we add the minor third and a flat seventh, we have a minor seventh chord. In this case, it would be an E flat, and a B flat. Add it to the power chord. If we add a major third and a flat 7, we have what's called a dominant 7th chord. In this case, E is a major third, B flat is a flat 7th, added to the power chord. And now there are a couple of chords which I call add 9 chords. What they are major and minor chords, so we're going to have a major and minor third added, and on top of that, the 9th as well. A major add 9 would add a major third E and a 9 D. A minor add 9 would add the flat third, E flat, and the 9th, D. Now let's talk about how the 11th added to the power chord changes the name. We'll keep the major third, and we'll add an 11th, and we end up with a major add 11th. Here's the power chord, here's the major third, here's the 11th. Don't worry, we won't be playing these fingerings. And the final chord is a minor 11th chord where we add 3 notes, the minor third, the flat 7, and also the 11th, which once again is F. And just to make this easier for now, we'll put the 5th in the bass. Now what this new information allows us to do is to take a simple chord progression that you wrote, maybe you have a great melody going, and develop the sound of the chords to add some spice. Let's say the chord progression we have is all power chords A, F to G. Very, very typical. By adding some of these intervals and creating these more interesting chords, perhaps we can make it sound a little bit more interesting, or we can take it in a more dramatic direction. So I'll turn the A into an A minor add 9. I'll turn the F into an F sus 2. And maybe the G into a G sus 2. So what started out as now it sounds like that's the basic picture. Now, unfortunately, when you're trying to play this stuff loud and heavy, it's going to sound pretty bad because of the dissonance of the intervals. I know you don't want to hear this, but I'll demonstrate. Some of them don't sound that bad, but once we start getting to 11ths and 7ths, believe me, it's horrible. People will cringe. So here's where orchestration comes into play. What we're going to do is we're going to divide the part up into 2 separate parts. And you can do this when you're recording, or you can do it in a band. If you have a bass and guitar, you can divide the parts up. Or if you have 2 guitar players or guitar and keyboards. The concept is one guy plays the power chord, or the root and the 5th, and the other guy plays the added tension. Sometimes it's either 1 note, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. So I have a couple of examples that demonstrate how, in our case, open strings added to power chords will create some interesting sounds. So let's go through the different chords we can create, and then we'll make a little song out of it. The first power chord was an A. We added a